Africa, and South America, and he has a wide spectrum of clinical disease from asymptomatic manifestation to mild or severe disease, in some cases with organ damage, heart, liver, kidney, with or without bleeding. About 55% of infected people suffer from the asymptomatic form, 33% from the mild form, and 12% from the severe form. In severe form, between 50 to 67% of them die. The epidemiological situation in Latin America in recent years was as follows during 2016-2018. 2 waves of yellow fever transmission were registered during the first wave between 2016 and 2017. 7 countries registered cases: Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, France, Guyana, Peru, and Suriname. While in the second wave between 2017 and 2018, there were 6 countries that reported confirmed cases: Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, France, Guyana, and Peru. Between 2019 and 2021, 3 countries in the region of the Americas reported confirmed cases, with dispersal route in direction of Rio Grande do Sul. What happens in my country? History of circulation of yellow fever virus in Paraguay between 1974 and 28. 37 cases have been reported in 4 departments of our country. In 2008, an urban epidemic of yellow fever took place in which 28 cases were confirmed, distributed in the department of San Pedro, Central, and Caguazú. From that time until the present, no new case of yellow fever in humans were reported in Paraguay. Vaccinations against yellow fever in Paraguay began in 2021, with the target population being travelers to endemic areas and residents in border areas. In 2006, vaccination against yellow fever was introduced to the regular vaccination schedule at the age of 1 year. The eradication of yellow fever is a great challenge. The Yellow Fever Epidemic Elimination Strategy I was established by the World Health Organization as a long-term global strategy 2017 and 2026. In 2020 and 2021, the country faced the COVID-19 pandemic, which had an impact on the vaccination rate of the standard, And right now, the objective was to identify the sanitary region of Paraguay with high, medium, and low risk of yellow fever in humans. Observational descriptive cross-sectional study conducted in Paraguay 2006 to 2021. Demographic variables were analyzed: age, sanitary region, population, and epidemiological density, presence of the reservoir, presence of the Aedes aegypti, proximity to epizootic areas, migration to epizootic areas, vaccination coverage against yellow fever. A risk matrix was built with the aforementioned variables, which was applied to each health region score. More than 8 points were considered a high risk, 5 to 7 medium risk, and less than 4 low risk. The EpiInfo program was used. And this is the construction of the risk categorization matrix. When a presence of reservoir, 1 point, presence of the Aedes aegypti vector, 1 point, proximity to an area with the presence of an epizootic, 1.2, settlement and epizootic areas or importation case, 1 point, migration to areas of risk, 1 point, history of yellow fever case in the last 10 years, 1 point, and when analyzing the coverage vaccination, accumulated coverage from people 1 to 59 years have 3 points if the coverage was less than 80%, 2 points was the coverage was 80 to 94%, and 1 point if the coverage is more than 95%. Population density is important too. and larval infection risk scale. When at more than 4% have 2 points, when the larval infection risk scale have 1, 2, 3, 9% if 1 point, and total score is high risk, 8 or more points, medium risk 5 to 7, and low risk less than 4 points. And when applying the scale of points to categorize the risk, we obtained the following. This is the yellow coverage, the yellow fever vaccination coverage in our country was very low, 79 to 52% at the yellow fever vaccination coverage. Population aged 1 to 16 years was 79%, and the yellow fever vaccination coverage population 70 to 59 was 85%. When applying the scale of point to categorize the risk, we obtain the following. 2 regions with medium risk and 17 regions with high risk, and no one was at low risk. The results. In the last 5 years, the regular vaccination coverage against yellow fever dropped 80 to 52%, was significant. The average coverage of yellow fever vaccination pre-pandemic and pandemic periods dropped 76% versus 59%, was significant too. Coverage was heterogeneous between regions. The population vaccinated 1 to 16 years old was 79%, from 70 to 59 years old was 85%. At the end of 2021, almost all health regions had a reservoir of the virus. The vector spread in all regions vaccination coverage was not optimal, was less than 80% in 8 regions, 84 to 94% in 10 regions, 95 to 100% in 1 region. When categorizing the risk of yellow fever in humans by the year 2021, 70-89% regions were at high risk, 11% at medium risk, no one was at low risk. Conclusion. Regions with high, medium, and low risk of yellow fever in humans were identified. 89% of regions are in high risk. Large gaps in vaccination expansion at the vector through the national territory, presence of the reservoir in almost all regions were found and predict an imminent epidemic outbreak. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. Araya.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Do we have any questions from the audience?
Thanks a lot.
Okay. We will resume with our video.